Have you recently purchased a new or used vehicle, or perhaps you're researching for a new or used vehicle, but you're wondering how to set up and use all the technology that we find in a driver's information system and the infotainment screen? If so, you're at the right place. Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and today I'm going to show you how to do just that. But before I do, take a moment to give us a like and hit that subscribe button down below. Let's get started. Okay, welcome to our how-to video on the 2021 Toyota Venza. This is the limited trim level, and we're going to talk about the driver's information screen and the infotainment screen. So to get started here, on the far left, you got two analog gauges. One shows if your battery's charging, and then up in the green, it shows if you're driving economically. Of course, darker green is better, lighter green is a little less economical. And then at the power band there, then that shows you're using pretty much all engine. Down below, you've got an analog engine temperature gauge. And on the far right, you have an analog speedometer and an analog fuel gauge. Now, in the middle, this is all the information that you can configure. So if you'll notice on the far left, there's a bunch of icons, and I'm just kind of going through them. Okay, these are the main menus. And then if there's anything extra you can see besides the picture that shows up immediately, then you're going to see these four little dots. And then you can use your right or left arrow to scroll through the different pictures. So up above that, you have a bunch of dummy lights. You'll have some of your safety systems, like your lane keeping assist. If you don't have it in your main screen, it's always up there, along with your adaptive cruise control, and then of course your clock. At the bottom, you have an outside temperature gauge, your gear selector, and then you have your odometer. Now, your odometer button is just to the right of the steering wheel, and actually it has four functions. So it'll show you trip A, trip B, it'll show you your service till your miles to your next service, and then a total odometer. All right, let's get started. So to control the information in the middle, you're going to use the OK button, the four cursors here, and the back button. So starting right here, you've got your fuel economy, and the top little dot you see, that's your instant fuel economy, and will expand and contract as you drive. So down below that, you got trip, and that'll show up in a box after you've driven a while and give you a fuel economy, average fuel economy for your trip. And down below is one you can adjust, and right now it's set to tank and tells you how much your average fuel economy is for your tank. And you can set that to a trip, and you can set that to total, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. Now, I'm using my right arrow, I'm going to go over one, and here you have your eco score. So the gray box at the very top is sort of your economic zone, and that's where you want to stay within when you're accelerating to be economical. Now, down below that, you get scored on three things: how you accelerate from a stop, what your score is for just your driving, and this can be at 30 miles an hour, or it could be at highway speeds. And then you do have a stopping score. So how well do you stop? How economically do you stop? And the more bars you have lit up in green, the more economical you are driving. All right, let's go over another one. On this screen, it's just your digital miles per hour and your distance to empty. And then on the last screen here, this shows you how much time the car's been running. And so it's been 17 minutes. And then it shows you how much of that time has been on battery power. All right, I'm going to use my down arrow. I'm going to go down to the next one. And here's driving support. So right now, what you see is a compass on the top left, and then a little navigation symbol right below that. Once you come to a turn, your turn-by-turn direction will show up in the right-hand side, kind of where the digital speedometer is. Now, in the middle are some of your safety systems. So right now it's lane keeping assist, and you have double white lines on either side. Those will light up solid white when it reads the line, and it will show up, look like it does when it doesn't read the line. Now, next to that, you will see as you're driving, you'll see some blue curved walls that show up, and that refers to your steering assist, if it's active or not. Adaptive cruise control shows up here too, I should mention that. So my cruise control is on currently, and if I set the gap setting, you can see that show up there. Now, anytime we get out of the screen, you're going to see all of this pop up to the top. So I'm going to go down one, and you see that right now, all that stuff I just showed you kind of shows up at the top. All right, this is your media window, and if something is playing, you'll actually see it in the screen. It'll give you the title, all that kind of stuff. To select source, you press OK, and then you can use your up and down arrows to select a different source. Click OK. You can go through different presets, click OK, and then that's what's playing. Going down to the next icon, I'm going to use my down arrow button. And right here, you've got 4 more windows to see. So the first one is, it's going to show you a red arrow if the engine power is operating. It's going to show you a green arrow if the battery is charging, and a yellow arrow if it's using the battery power. Right? I go over one to the right. This is your tire pressure monitoring system. I like it that they put a Venza in there. And then over here, you've got your all-wheel drive system. So it'll all those little bar graphs will light up in blue, showing you front or back, left or right, which tires are getting power. And then if I go to the last one, this is your safety system status. So it doesn't show all your safety systems, but it does show your pre-collision system and your blind spot monitor and your parking assist. And then, of course, your rear cross traffic alert. Moving down one using the down arrow, here are a bunch of your safety systems, and they're kind of set out in a couple different ways. So the very first one, you notice there's no on or off button. And what you have to do is you have to press and hold. And then for your lane keeping assist, you can turn these on or off by a simple click of the button. And it works the same way for this one. The alert here, you can click the OK button and you can have just a sound. Or if you heard that, that's the vibrating steering wheel is on. And then down here, by clicking the OK button, you can change the sensitivity to high or low. If I go press my down arrow again, I get a sway warning on or off by clicking the OK button. And again, I can set the sensitivity of that by pushing the OK button. All right, I am then going to hit the back button in this case. And the second kind of button we have is this one where it says on or off underneath it. So a quick click just turns the system off. Okay. However, I'm going to turn this on again. If I click and hold, now I get some settings. For instance, under this, all I can do, it changes the sensitivity by clicking on the OK button. And anything that you see that has that on button there, or if it says off, works the same way. So you click it once to turn it on or off, and then you click and hold to get to the detailed settings. So for instance here, if I give this a quick click and this is off, and now I'm going to use my up arrow, do you notice my safety systems? Now my rear cross traffic assist is off. So that's what I meant when I said it'll show up in white. All right, I'm going to go back here. Obviously, I'm going to turn that back on. And then let's go over here. You've got one here for your HUD display. This does have a really nice HUD. And a quick click turns it off. A quick click turns it on. And then let's take a look at the settings that we have, because they have some really good ones in here. First of all, if I click here, I can use my right-left arrows to adjust the brightness or dimness. And I can use my up-down arrows to adjust the position of the HUD on the windshield. If you're doing this, you'll actually want to look at the HUD and not your display. But that's the first one. I'm going to hit the back button. You get Hud Driving Support. So this will tell you what shows up on your HUD. And it's a simple click of on or off. So navigation, click the OK button, it's off. Click it, it's on. So if it's on, your turn by turn will show up in the HUD. Okay, and it's the same for this. You can say driving assist, on or off. That's your cruise control, lane keeping assist, that kind of stuff. Your compass, and then your audio. Now, the only audio that does not show up in the HUD display is Bluetooth. So if you're running Bluetooth, you will not see the audio in the HUD, but all the other audio shows up there. And it shows up on the very bottom of the HUD. All right, this very top one is your tax setting. And if I click that, you get a choice between having a regular tachometer, having the hybrid system gauge, which mimics this gauge that I showed you at the beginning on the left. And then you can, of course, if I go back into tachometer settings, you can just take that part off if you want. All right, I'm going to click the back button for a minute. And then this is another adjustment that I really like. They put this in here. So if I click on here, I can use my right or left arrows to rotate the HUD clockwise or counterclockwise. And depending on how you sit on your seat, that's a really nice feature. All right, I'm going to hit the back button here. I'm going to hit the back button once again. And then I'm going to skip this one because this works just like all the other systems do. And I will go to this one. So I'm going to click and hold. All right. This is where you set the height opening of your rear power door. So if I click OK, and I go down. Okay, so first of all, I got to turn it on. So it was off, and I just click the OK button to turn it on. And then I can say I want the hands-free part to operate, and that's where you kick your foot underneath. But you can click that off if you want. But this is the opening adjustment. So if I click here, basically you have 6 settings. And I like it that they show you a little graph. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. All right, and then you just press OK to select it, and that's the one that you keep. You can change, it beeps at you when you do this, so you can adjust that volume, and then that's it right there. I'm gonna hit the back arrow. I'm gonna go down here. This is where you can look at your tire pressure setting. All right. If I go down here, you can turn your rear seat reminder on or off with a simple click of the OK button. And then you can take a look at scheduled maintenance here. And this is where you would reset everything if you wanted to. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to scroll down, oil maintenance. So if you change this when you change your oil, this is where you reset that. Okay, hit the back button. Hit the back button again. All right, now, if I go over here and I press and I hold, this is where you can change the language, units, have the EV part on or off, have your digital speed display on or off. I go down again with my arrow. I can select a gadget, fuel economy type. All right, do you remember that graph I showed you at the beginning that shows your average miles per gallon, and at the bottom it said tank? Well, this is where you change it to the total, or press OK again, you can change it to trip. Hit the back button. Okay, pop-up display. These are things that will pop up in your driver's information screen, like a phone call or a message from the car saying you need oil change or whatever. This is where you check what you want show up. So here I have turn-by-turn navigation. I can say I don't want that showing up. Okay, it's just a simple click of the OK button, but you got telephone calls, audio operation, volume operation, voice control, and brightness. I'm going to hit the back button. Okay, you can turn the whole mid off here if I click the OK button and it just goes black. I'm going to click the OK button to bring it back on again. And I'm going to hit the down arrow again. And here you can turn all the settings back to the default settings in case you completely mess up and you want to bring it back to its original settings. All right. So that's the end of that particular list, because if I hit the right arrow, I come back to where I was at the beginning. Now I'm going to go down one more, and this is simply where messages will show up if your car is trying to communicate with you, like you need an oil change or, there's a low tire pressure or something. All that stuff will stay in here. Okay, that's it for the driver's information screen. Next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. All right, so the infotainment screen itself is 12.3 inches. It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Those are both wired. It has AM and FM radio, HD radio, Sirius XM, and you can hook up Alexa through your phone and through the system. It has a really nice 9-speaker JBL sound system. I've had the car for about a week, and yes, it's a really nice system. I like it. Just enough bass and treble and mid, so it was a very nice sound. Now, the way the screen is set up is that this piece you see here can be switched sides. So if I simply push this arrow or the passenger pushes that arrow, I can switch sides. Okay? And what this has is basically 5 pieces of information. You got your climate, okay, you've got your heated seats, you've got media, you've got some information on the car, and then here you've got some more information on the car. Now, anytime in this screen, if it gives you a little arrow, because it's not on every icon it does that, if you click it, it makes it full screen. Okay? To get it back, you simply click the bottom left arrow or the bottom right arrow, and there we go. The other part of the screen is configurable. This part right here, you can set up to just in a couple different ways, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So you would click the menu button, then you would go to Setup and Customize Home Screen. Change Layout, and now you have 4 choices. Now these are your only 4 choices, but let's just say that you wanted this one just to do something different. Now you notice navigation gets grayed out. The window isn't big enough. So if you want navigation to show up, you're going to have to use one that has the double windows. So let's click that one. And let's say navigation has to go in here because it can't fit into these. But let's say I want my phone to go here. Okay, there it shows up. And if I click my arrow here, I want my clock to go here. Now I simply go back and press the home button. And now I've switched things around. So that is how you customize this part of the screen. All right, so that's the screen. So let's go back and let's talk about, first of all, a couple of physical buttons we have down here, and then let's talk about some of the apps that are in here. So down here, you've got power, you've got a volume, and this is not a slide. This is definitely a push. You've got a home button, a menu button, an audio button, and a map button. Then you have tune and track right here. All right, so this will kind of be your constant, these two here, either home or menu, is my guess. So I am, to see the different apps, I'm going to click on menu. So first of all, in terms of navigation, if you click on destination, you get the following options. You can search, you can actually call and get a person on the line to assist you with directions. You can save favorites and they'll be located here. They'll look at any recent ones you plotted. And then in an emergency, it'll give you icons to call, like the police and the hospital and the fire station and so on. Okay? And then you have a little arrow here so you can go down. It'll actually, if you have addresses associated with your contacts in your phone, that you can check mark, you can click here, excuse me, and it'll pull up those addresses as well. And then you have a little button to go home. All right, let's go back to menu, and let's go for a minute to audio. So at the top, you're going to have two things. One is kind of a menu on this side, and then the display for whatever source you're on here. And Sirius XM, AM, and FM, and then of course HD radio, all look almost exactly the same. Bluetooth changes these menus here because it doesn't need all of these and has some different options. But here's your source button, and you can reselect these. You can reorder them. So I can say, well, I want Bluetooth to be first, and this is a click and drag. I want FM to be next, and so on. Press the OK button when you're done. The reason this is important is because on your steering wheel you have a mode button that switches you between your sources, and it will go in this order. Down below here, you're going to have all your presets. You can look at a station list. You got options right here. So different options that relate to HD radio and Sirius XM. And then down here you have your sound. So you can adjust your treble, mid, and bass. And this is not a slide. This is actually a physical push. But you can adjust all those things. Your fader and balance is the same way. You need to click on the icons. And then if I go back, you have automatic sound levelizer on or off. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch. I'm going to go back here to presets. Down here, you've got all your presets. And you notice a little arrow here. If I click this, I'll see more of them. Anytime you want to set a favorite, simply go to the channel or station, click and hold, and there it is. And now it's channel 16. Okay, what I want to show you, and I said this earlier, but FM and AM look almost exactly the same. If I go to AM, okay, again, looks the same, operates the same way. What will change, of course, is Bluetooth, and all that changes is that these menus now have more to do with Bluetooth and your phone. And over here will be, of course, what's playing. All right, so let's go back to the menu button, and let's take a look at phone. And now, see, I got history, favorites, contacts, keypad. I can actually, if there's more than one device hooked up, I can select that device here, and then I can go back to Nathan's phone to get back to this menu, and then I can set it up for text messaging. And I'm not going to do that, but to do that, you'd click yes and start the process and just follow the on-screen prompts. I'm going to hit menu again. This projection button, this one will turn to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if you have it hooked up through the USBs down below. All right, info. Here you can take a look at traffic incidents, weather, and vehicle alert history. Click menu again. I'm going to take a look at setup. Now, up here, you've got the basic menu, kind of like we did on the radio. You've got some more things down here. And you have then what is in this particular menu. So for general, you can set the clock, but honestly, the easiest way to set the clock is just to click on the clock. And then you can change it instantly. Okay, you can change your language. We did the customized home screen. You can, if you don't like the screen beeps, you can turn those off here. See how it beeps on me? If I turn it off, it doesn't do that. You can change the colors by going to theme setting, and they're all preset, but you have these different choices right here. So I can set it all to blue if I want. We'll leave it blue for now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little up arrow, and it collapses everything and brings up the rest of the menu we had under general. So you can change your units of temperature, units of measure. You can do, let's see, we'll go down here, driver's setting. So underneath here, you can, once you link up your phone and you set up a profile, when you get in the car, things such as your audio presets, button colors, language preference, all that kind of stuff gets paired to your phone. This is where you enable that feature. And then when you step in the car, then everything that you had set comes back. If someone else drives the car and their phone is paired, it does it for them too. So it's kind of like a driver profile setting. All right. Then this, of course, is where you can delete personal data. This does have automatic software updates. Okay, and you can check for update here, and then you can change the setting here if you want. You can turn the automatic updates off. Why you do that, I don't know, but you can. Okay, and then down here, if I click here, I can set the sensitivity here to 3, 2, or 1. All right, let's go to Bluetooth. Again, this is another way to add a new device or remove a device, and if you want to look at detailed settings. Under audio, if I look at radio, you can manage smart favorites. You can change the number of radio presets all the way up to 36 if you want. If I go to phone here, then this is where you can adjust some of the sounds on your phone, like how loud is it when it, well, what's the ringtone, first of all. And you can set these, let's see, these 4 from the car, or 3 of them from the car, and then this will take the ringtone that's already on your phone. Voice command. If something is not loud enough for you, like a navigation voice prompt or something, you can change the voice volume right here. You can make it lower or louder. You can also tell that, I'm gonna hit this arrow to collapse it, automatic navigation guidance. I can have that turned off if I don't want that. I can also turn off the voice guidance in almost. What that means is, let's say I got navigation running and the course plotted and I'm in my radio. If that button is off, I'm not gonna get a voice prompt. If I click it on, I'll get a voice prompt no matter what is on my screen. Then you can change the volume of the voice prompts to high, low, or off. All right. Let's collapse that one right there. And then you got some more. You can use the trained voice recognition to use the voice command system in a better way. It actually learns your voice. So it learns the way you speak and pronounce things. And then you can set a couple of other things for that voice command as well. Okay, let's go down here. Under vehicle, I love this about Toyota. So if I click on maintenance, look at all the things that I can set. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, it's the kind of stuff we see on the, on the Tundra and the Tacoma. So I love that. You can also turn it on to remind you. Hit the back arrow here. Vehicle customization. If you want to change like your door lock settings, that kind of stuff, this is where you go. Your light settings has to do with your, well, it has to do with a couple of things. You have auto headlights on here. Sometimes with auto headlights, I find that I want them to come on earlier and they don't. So I can change the sensitivity here. Okay, so it goes from -2 all the way up to +2. So you can adjust the sensitivity so they come on earlier or later according to your preference. Right? Let's see. Other vehicle settings here that are nice to look at. Driver's easy exit slide. Okay, and steering column. All right, let's go back again. And let's go down here. All right, let's go down one here. We get to go to navigation. If you want to make all the detailed settings for your navigation, this is where you do it. Here's all the detailed settings, like do I want a low fuel warning pop up? Click on, click off. Okay, so let's go back to menu for a minute. And a couple other things I'll show you, and that is if you click display, okay, you get screen off. You can set the day mode here. If I click it on, there's what day mode looks like. If I click it off, then it's like night mode. If I go to general, it actually shows you different things from your infotainment screen, and then you can adjust the contrast or the brightness. And I like it that they actually show you what it looks like, so when you get back to the screen, you knew exactly what you were doing. All right, if I hit screen off, everything is still operating, but the screen goes blank, makes it maybe a little easier to drive at night. However, what you need to know is you can't touch the screen to start it again. You need to hit one of the buttons down here. So if I, for instance, hit menu, it brings everything back. All right, other than that, you got your home button here that brings us back to this screen right here. You should know that in the navigation, if you click at this window, it will become almost full screen. And then you do have some buttons right here, and this is the last one that we'll talk about. So you can save home, and once you do that, it'll show up there. Save favorite there. You can zoom in and zoom out. And then if you want to search for an address here, we'll wait for a minute. If you just go to the search button, you get the same menu that we saw earlier, but it's right in the navigation map. Just click outside on the map and that disappears. And a minute later, this pops back up again. You can change how the map looks by clicking on this part of it. And then the last button here is this one, and this is the map mode. So you can click on there and you can say, well, I want a dual map. Okay, select the right side of the map. Okay, so this is my dual mode right now. So if I click this, I can say I want POI and icons and traffic information showing up here if I want. Okay, I can also just click on this and say, okay, on map mode here, I don't want that. I want a compass on that side. Compass shows up. Okay, so we'll go back to the home screen right back here. And if this screen right here doesn't become larger, except for to set the clock, but this one doesn't. This is, you're supposed to select and hold to add a contact. So again, this was more for my phone. I maybe would put my most important contacts there. It would dial them. Okay, and that is the infotainment screen. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.